Yo, what is up, guys? We got a quick live stream. We're going to go through some bets for tonight. So we got Thursday Night Football. We also have a full slate of NBA. So I'm just going to share my screen. We'll keep this live stream quick. Hit some plays on PrizePicks and hopefully make some money. So we hit some plays earlier. They got a promo on Kevin Durant, and we've been getting close. So this PrizePicks play, we went 4 for 5. So we got the 2x payout. On PrizePicks, you go 4 for 5, you get a 2x payout. And we're going to look for some bets. So the first play I really like for this weekend is, let's go here. We just want to go to player touchdowns. And we can take a look at it, is Montgomery to score a touchdown. So we can go back here, and I actually included this play in a different slip, but I really do like this play, right? Montgomery to score a touchdown. Also, PrizePicks has a lot of all these plays in general suck. I looked through some of these demons and goblins, but in general, these are not worth betting. Like if you go through the math in general, they're giving you very bad odds on these plays. But anyways, let's go through this play on Montgomery. So this is just a normal PrizePicks square, no demons and goblins or whatever. So what you're going to notice is all the sports books, right? You just go here, player touchdowns, which means rushing plus receiving. This is rushing plus receiving. All the books have Montgomery heavily favored to score a touchdown, right? ESPN, Pinnacle, Fliff, like all of these books, Montgomery's like a minus 170 favorite to score a touchdown. So again, like you have all these books, sophisticated models, they're taking bets, moving around their lines. They all have Montgomery heavily favored to score. And the way that PrizePicks works, and obviously if you haven't bet this Kevin Durant promo, definitely want to include this in the slip. But the way that PrizePicks works is they give you the same payout, right? Any 2 picks, you're getting a 3x payout, which is really different than a traditional sports book, with a bunch of odds and numbers. But the way that PrizePicks works is you take the over, you take the under, they give you the same payout regardless. So the main strategy for beating them is compare the lines on PrizePicks to sports books and look for spots where books have an over or an under heavily favored. And in this case, it's Montgomery's over. So that's the play we're going to go with. But I'm trying to keep this live stream short. So maybe let's see what other plays are available in the market. Although let's switch over to Fliff quickly. So I kind of bounce around from book to book. Wherever there's value, that's where I'll be betting. And if you take a look right here, Jimmy Butler, it looks like all the books have been ripping odds towards his under, right? You can see Bovada, DraftKings, right? You have tons of data points. That's what's crazy about sports betting is just how fragmented the market is. All these books, they have their own models. They're setting lines independently. So I don't even know, like maybe some player got injured or whatever, but you can see sometimes it's like lineup news that causes these line movements, but you can see all the books have ripped Butler to being a pretty big favorite to go under, minus 180-ish odds. And Fliff is sitting pretty, still offering minus 140. So we can just go here. This is the first NBA game of today at 4:30, 7:30 Eastern. So we can just go here and we can lock in Jimmy Butler under 6.5 assists. So Fliff has a max bet size of 250. And I really think like an investor, if there's value on Fliff, I'll place bets on Fliff. If there's more value on PrizePicks in a given day, we'll place more bets on PrizePicks. And we also got to play on Kobe White. So it looks like lines are starting to move around in the Bulls Heat game. So you can see here, it's like the way you want to think as kind of a data-driven sports bettor is, Fliff is the only book with Kobe White favored to go under, right? Fliff has Kobe White's under juiced. Minus 140, there's more juice towards the under, whereas literally every other sports book, Pinnacle, known to be one of the sharpest, smartest sports books, all these other books have Kobe White, as a pretty big favorite to go over 5.5 assists. So we can just go here and we can lock this in as well, right? This Jimmy Butler play, sure, it has a slightly higher profit margin, but your max bet size on Fliff is only 250, so might as well lock both in. So we got 2 NBA player props to start off the live stream. And then you can see there's some other plays available on PrizePicks. So we already have Montgomery to score a touchdown. Again, all the books have his over heavily favored. But let's check out some of these other ones. So this play, I already locked it in earlier. But you can see here, in general, the market, UFC has a lot of line movement, one-on-one sports in general have a lot more line movement because it's, one-on-one versus a team sport. If some player in the NFL gets injured, unless it's the quarterback, but it's a team sport. It doesn't affect the odds as much. Whereas in the UFC, you get some pretty crazy line movements. So you can see here, 12 and a half minutes in the UFC. It's the same as 2.5 rounds. All the books, Circa, Pinnacle, like all these books have the fight heavily favored to go over. So we can add in that. And then you can see there's some other plays. There's Stafford under 23.5 passing completions, although it looks like they just removed that play. So we're going to have to move a little quicker because we just missed that play on Stafford. I think, at least, we'll have to take a look. I mean, we can take a look here, but there are some plays in the NBA. So we have Claxton, right? So Claxton under 8.5 rebounds. A lot of people like to look at these last 5 charts. But again, like every game is different. Everything's baked into the market. These sports books, they're not stupid, right? Like they're taking bets. They're moving around lines based on lineups, where sharp action is coming in. FanDuel has millions of customers. If all of their smarter customers are betting Claxton's under, they'll move odds towards the under. These books are constantly moving around lines based on where action's coming in, where profitable action, especially sharp action, is coming in. And you can see they all have him heavily favored to go under 8.5 rebounds. So that seems like a good play to go with, as well as Dante under 4.5 assists. So I follow a very data-driven approach. So we can see here we want to take him under 4.5 assists. None of these plays are in the same game, so we don't have any correlation to worry about. So we want to go here to under 4.5 assists. And again, like you can look at these, but really the basis for beating PrizePicks is you want to look at, real-time odds, right? Odds on sportsbooks. It's all baked into the market, the odds that sportsbooks are putting out. So here we got 4 picks, but ideally on PrizePicks, the optimal slip type, if you kind of go through the math, which I've done in other videos, the optimal slip type is 5-pick entries, right? Like, for example, PrizePicks, they only give you a 5x payout for 3-pick entries, whereas Underdog Fantasy, if we go back to Underdog Fantasy, you can see right here, if we just make a little 5-pick entry, they give you a 6x payout, right? 6x, 100 to win 600 versus 100 to win 500. That type of stuff really makes a difference, long term. So when you're trying to beat PrizePicks, ideally you're going with 5-pick entries or 6-pick entries. So the final play we can go with, so we can refresh this one more time maybe, see if anything new pops up. So we got 4 picks, and hopefully we can find one final play that we can go with. I can also go to Underdog as well. Underdog, it doesn't look like there's a lot of value. So we can go back here to PrizePicks, and we have Sabonis under 22.5, under 22 rebounds plus assists. So if we go here, a lot of unders in this slip. At least our NBA plays are all unders. So if we go here, right, and we just take a look, and I actually have this play on Underdog Fantasy, or it's one of the plays I gave out on Underdog Fantasy. But let's take a look here at rebounds plus assists, and let's take a look at Sabonis, right? Like Underdog has his line at 21.5. All these books have his line at 21.5. FanDuel, not only do they have his line lower at 21.5, but they have the under favored. You can see lines are moving too towards his under. It looks like the under is getting more juiced. And PrizePicks is sitting with his line at 22. So it's like, okay, this seems like a pretty good 5 flex that we can go with. Again, I would bet this for more, but PrizePicks is pretty annoying. The max they let me bet is $25. Made too much money off them. So then we can just lock in this 5-pick entry. And again, depending on where you're located, we hit some bets on Fliff. There's different sports books in every state. So like New Jersey, for example, has tons of sports books. It's one of the best states for sports betting. But in these live streams, I just try to focus on the main books that are available kind of in all states. So here's another one, right? We got Jamal Murray under 31.5 PRAs. It looks like the market has been ripping towards his under. So that also seems like a halfway decent play to go with. So we locked in some plays on Fliff. We just locked in this play on PrizePicks. Underdog, it looks like the board is pretty dry right now. maybe a tiny bit of value on Curry under 28.5 points, but really nothing. So that's just kind of how it goes. Sometimes I'll bounce around. I'll hit the arbitrage tool. So arbitrage is a crazy strategy, but it's when, all these books set their own odds, and arbitrage is just when two books get super out of sync, and you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and, guarantee yourself a profit. So here you can see like DraftKings has Jokic's over 22.5 rebounds plus assists at minus 180. Fliff is minus 130. There's a huge discrepancy in pricing in how likely Jokic is to go over in these two sports books. Who knows? Maybe it looks like DraftKings has been ripping odds towards his over, and Fliff is kind of stale. They haven't really moved odds at all. They're still offering him at minus 130. So what we can do is we can go here, and we can go to the Nuggets game, right? And it seems like, if you kind of look at the market, the other two books, it seems like Fliff is the side that's kind of screwing up at minus 130. So we want to go to the Nuggets game. And we want to take him over 22.5 rebounds plus assists. So this will be the final pick we go with. And again, it seems like the value is on the Fliff side. So that will be the play I lock in. Whenever you have arbitrage and you can bet an over on one book and under on another book and make a risk-free profit, one of these bets has to be profitable, either his over at minus 130 or his under at plus 140, right? We can literally bet his over on Fliff, his under on DraftKings. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So if you wanted to, you could go over to DraftKings, hedge, bet 184.29 on his under at plus 140. You're betting, 250, 140, 250, 185 on these two different books. Take the over on one book, the under on another book. And because these books have such different odds, you'll make a risk-free profit of $8, $8.01. Which again, it doesn't seem that great. A lot of people would be like, oh, I have to bet $250 to make $8. But this is a risk-free return, right, that you're getting back today, right? 1.8% risk-free return. You're just $8 richer for taking 20 seconds to place this bet. And then you can go to DraftKings, which now has this one-click bet thing, which will automatically, or it should at least, it should automatically load the bet. Anyways, whatever. It's not working right now, but if you wanted to, it should be pretty quick, and you make a risk-free $8. $8.01. Hit the over here, the under here for 184.29. You make a risk-free profit of $8. But I'm just going to bet the side on Fliff because it kind of seems like Fliff, you look at Caesars, you look at FanDuel, minus 160, minus 150-ish, minus 180-ish. Kind of seems like Fliff is the side that's screwing up here. But anyways, we can go back here. A lot more of the same. Kawhi Leonard under 27.5 points. Maybe some other plays, but I'm trying to keep these live streams shorter. So we'll call it a day for now. And hopefully you were able to tail these three plays on Fliff, as well as the PrizePicks play. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 picks on Fliff. Butler under 6.5. White over 5.5. Jokic over 22.5. Assists plus rebounds. And then we got this 5 flex on PrizePicks. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks so much for your time.